Your workflow is triggered by sources emitting events. An event is the payload that's coming from the source that kicks off the workflow. For example, if you're building a workflow that's triggered by HTTP requests, then the HTTP request itself would be the event. Test events are critical to developing your workflow effectively. Without a test event, you won't be able to test your workflow end-to-end or understand the shape of the data that's triggering your workflow. Test events can be generated in 3 different ways. They can be sourced from recent data, they can be generated by real actions, or generated manually by hand. Let's take a look at the first case, where we have a Google Sheet that already has data within it, and we'd like to set up a trigger when a new row is added to the spreadsheet. So when we go back to Pipedream and we add a Google Sheets app, and we set the trigger to be new row added, and we select our account and the spreadsheet, and don't forget to pick the worksheet as well. When we create the source, it will automatically retrieve the most recent events. So here you could see the source automatically retrieved 10 events, aka rows, from my spreadsheet. I can select any one of these rows individually and see exactly what the data looks like so I can develop this workflow in a predictable way. Now, not all Pipedream sources have the ability to retrieve recent events, but there are other cases where we can generate a static test event to start with. For example, let's go to Discord and let's use the new message trigger. We'll select our Discord account and select a channel. And in this case, Pipedream is not able to retrieve the most recent messages from the server. Instead, the source will generate a static test event that's the same shape as a normal Discord message, but you can then modify it to meet your needs. Now that our source is set up, we can use this generate test event button to generate a static test event. And we can select this sample test event as a mock of a real Discord message that we can use to build our workflow from. The third option is to generate the test data manually yourself. We can do this with the HTTP webhook trigger, for example, where we can design the payload of the request right within the editor. So we can click here, generate test event, and here we have a Postman-like interface where we can set the path of the request, we can set headers in the body. It already has a test event, but we can change this to whatever we'd like. So we can change it to pierce@pipedream.com for an email, for example. We can maybe call this /signup, and then we can send an HTTP request and generate a test event manually. And you could see in the step exports, it does include that custom data that we defined. Whenever possible, try to use data that's close as possible to production, aka live data. When generating tests manually, you can potentially include a typo or missing data, and the shape of the data won't match exactly what you see in production. So whenever possible, try to use the automatically retrieved events or generate real event data by performing the action within the app to trigger your workflow so you can see exactly the data that you will see in production. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.